about to rain. Anyway, welcome to the channel, and in this video I'm going to be asking you to put away your secateurs and put away your loppers. And let me tell you why. I'm going to be talking to you about the four plants that you want to avoid cutting, lopping, pruning in the autumn. Otherwise you could have some rather terrible consequences come the spring that we really want to try and avoid. So let's get to it. The first plant I'm going to talk to you about are your camellias. So I just need to show you something that's quite important, something that you do need to know. Come on then. Now, your camellias are an absolutely wonderful group of spring flowering, evergreen, luscious looking plants from Asia, China, Japan. Fantastic plants, but unlike many other plants that produce their new growth on the spring, and the flower buds are also formed on that new growth, camellias begin to produce their flower buds pretty much immediately after their spring flowers have died and fallen off, and you can see it on the new buds. Let's take a little look. Okay, so it's October now, and you can see at the end of these stems you've got what is a foliage bud here, another foliage bud here, there. And that fat one there is a flower bud. I can see it a bit clearer say on this one here. So it's quite fat, rounded. That there's a flower bud, and this has been growing really since about May, June time. As soon as the plants finish flowering in the spring, then as that new growth comes through immediately afterwards, that's what contains those new buds for the following year. So it takes a very long time for these buds to build up and grow and come out and bloom in the spring. So if you start cutting, pruning, training, whatever you want to do with these plants in the autumn, you'll be removing all that growth, and you'll be removing your next season's bud. And no, you're not going to get fresh growth of new bud on it. It's never going to happen. If you cut, prune, take any kind of material off your camellia trees in the autumn, then wherever you've cut, you're not going to get any flowers. So that's a big one to try and avoid. Right, plant number two is actually a similar story. Plant number two are your magnolias. Again, another plant that is early flowering and takes a long time. You see some of these magnolias in bloom, and these are big flowers, especially that was it Delvay's magnolia Delvayi, absolutely enormous. So for the plant to actually produce a big bloom like that, takes a lot of energy, takes a lot of time. So once again, if you start cutting back parts of your magnolia plant in the autumn, wherever you've taken those cuts, you're not going to get any flowers, so avoid doing that. Well, to be fair, I will just say that both camellias and magnolias do bounce back extremely well when pruned, even when pruned back hard. So if flowering isn't your concern, cut away, boyo. Now, the third group of plants that you really must avoid cutting back and pruning in the autumn are your cherry trees, and that can be either your ornamental flowering cherry trees or your top fruiting cherry trees. And the reason for this is why you cut these at the height of the summer when the weather is as dry as you can possibly find it, and that is the only time you start cutting these plants back. Why? Because if you start cutting back in the autumn, when there's moisture in the air, you will increase the risk of silverleaf and bacterial cancer. And I've seen some absolutely shocking plants, and it's just terrible. It's like trouble with cherries. It's like they want to die. You know, they will try and pick out any single disease. They just need the slightest excuse to become infected by anything. So don't do it in autumn. I do see some sites saying, oh, the best time of year to cut them is when they're dormant in the autumn and the leaves fall off. But no. That's absolutely the wrong time. Hottest day, driest day is the dry that's most important, because you have bacterial canker in the air. You have silverleaf fungal spores in the air, and they'll go straight in, and they'll ruin your plant. The silverleaf fungus, both of these issues are going to kill your plant over time. The silverleaf, you can't even give your plants you know, try and keep it in the best possible condition with watering and feeding and mulching and all the rest of it, and try and get to outgrow the diseases, because they just won't. They really won't. Certainly won't with silverleaf and with bacterial canker. It's just a slow decline. So cherry trees, that's a big one. Like I say, and it's both for ornamental, which really, if you're having to prune back ornamental cherry trees, and you probably bought the wrong one. Let's be honest with you, you should have bought something smaller. And with fruiting trees, just do your research and do the job properly in the first place. But there you go, cherry trees, that's important. You know, you can try and challenge me on that one, but I guarantee you I'm absolutely spot on. Cut in the summer. Right, now the last one, you might not have thought this one, but it's roses. If you've seen these videos before, you know neither me or my wife like roses. Little vicious, septic, horrible, bloody things. Like even that. Got one in here. Got one in here. Bless me. Right, well I don't normally sit in the same place twice in a video, but it has started to rain, so I'm going to sit where I'm protected, which is under the old apple tree. Don't look up my nose. Anyway, roses. Now, we had this button down about 2 centuries ago, when gardeners were real men, which doesn't seem to be the case anymore. So there was a saying, you would prune back your roses to the 3rd outward facing bud in the 3rd week of the 3rd month. So that would be March. However, this seems to be common practice now, where people start cutting back their roses at the other year. So you're looking at November. Which is all well and good, you can get away with it. Roses are quite tough, but there was a good reason why you wouldn't do it. In fact, there's several good reasons why you wouldn't do it. Firstly, if you cut late in the autumn, then all you're going to do is, especially during mild weather, you're going to produce new weak growth, and that growth is very, very soft, and there's a problem with that. Firstly, it's going to attract biting insects to it, so all this lovely lush, soft, sugary growth, you'll start amassing swarms of aphids. And the trouble is, with these biting insects, they can be vectors for other diseases, bacterial diseases. They can move virals around. And the second thing, this soft growth, as soon as you get a frost, it's all going to be damaged. So your roses has expended a load of energy trying to produce this new growth, only for it to be completely wiped off the face of the earth. And all that new growth that's damaged and weak and starting to rot and wilt away, these become infection points for fungal infections. So it's not a great idea. I appreciate it will make your roses a little tidier, but it does increase the risk of fungal and pest disease. It's a good reason to not do it. But there are some benefits too. If you aren't cutting back your roses, then the rose hip, if you haven't been deadheading your roses, then you'll have the colourful rose hips forming, and these can be rather ornamental going into the winter. And some of these rose hips are absolutely gorgeous. And not only do they have ornamental value, they also have value to the wildlife, because these are a food source for other birds and mammals. So there are a number of reasons. There are a number of reasons why roses, you don't cut them in the autumn. You don't cut them in the autumn. I say you probably will, but really you should leave it. You should leave it to those who went before us, who know far better. Anyway, that's four. That is four that you should know about. But if there are any other plants that you think should also be considered in my list, then let us know. Put that in the comments. We would love to hear from you. Anyway, time for me to get out of the rain, get a cup of tea, and before I go, there's one last message. You know what it is. It's me again. Right, now, just before you go, if you want to see more content, more behind the scenes stuff, and images that I've taken of some weird freaky plants over the years, then you're in luck, because we've created an Instagram page. So you can find the link in our description. You can find the link on our main page, and if I'm clever enough, I might be able to get a link somewhere up there. Anyway, thank you for watching, and if you want to see more YouTube stuff, then check out this video here. That's got a good one. And if it doesn't float your boat, then another one right there. And enjoy these while still got the strength, imagination and aptitude to make them. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.